The rise, fall, and confused resurrection of coconut oil's reputation reveals everything wrong with nutritional whiplash in modern dietary advice. In the span of 15 years, coconut oil went from arterial villain to superfood sensation to questionable health choice again, with American sales exploding from 88 million in 2012 to 534 million by 2020. Somewhere in this transformation, actual science got lost in the marketing noise. Let's start with the uncomfortable fact nobody mentions in wellness circles. Coconut oil contains 82% saturated fat, higher than butter at 63%. That's not a typo or a measurement error. This is one of the most saturated fat-dense foods you can consume. The American Heart Association's 2017 advisory specifically warned against coconut oil based on LDL cholesterol increases in multiple studies. This isn't fringe science or outdated research, it's mainstream cardiovascular medicine. The medium-chain triglyceride defense requires scrutiny. Yes, coconut oil contains MCTs, but only 13 to 15% are the shorter-chain MCTs like C8 and C10 that show metabolic benefits. The majority is lauric acid, a 12-carbon fatty acid that behaves more like long-chain saturated fat despite marketing claims. Pure MCT oil supplements provide concentrated C8 and C10. Coconut oil doesn't. Lipid researchers I've consulted explain that the source of saturated fat matters for cardiovascular risk, but coconut oil consistently increases LDL cholesterol in controlled trials. Some studies show simultaneous HDL increases and particle size shifts, complicating interpretation, but the LDL elevation is consistent. For people with existing heart disease or high cholesterol, cardiologists generally recommend limiting coconut oil significantly. The virgin versus refined processing creates different products. Virgin coconut oil retains more phenolic compounds with potential antioxidant properties. Refined coconut oil undergoes chemical processing, removing these compounds while increasing shelf stability. If you're using coconut oil, virgin makes more nutritional sense, though it won't overcome the saturated fat content. Now for the environmental angle nobody discusses. Coconut palm plantations in Southeast Asia, particularly Indonesia and the Philippines, contribute to deforestation and habitat loss. Labor concerns in harvesting operations raise ethical questions. The carbon footprint of importing coconut products from tropical regions versus using locally produced olive oil or butter is substantial. The high smoke point makes coconut oil suitable for high-heat cooking, its legitimate culinary advantage. But olive oil, avocado oil, or even butter can serve similar purposes without the extreme saturated fat concentration. Here's my assessment based on current evidence. Coconut oil isn't poison, but it's not a health food. Using small amounts in cooking occasionally fits within varied diets. But replacing olive oil or using coconut oil liberally based on superfood marketing contradicts cardiovascular research. The Mediterranean diet, backed by decades of research showing health benefits, centers on olive oil, not coconut products. That should tell you something about which fats support longevity. The pendulum swung too far during coconut oil's superfood moment. Now it's swinging back toward reasonable caution. Moderation, not devotion or avoidance, makes sense given the evidence. But if you're choosing a primary cooking oil for health reasons, olive oil remains the evidence-based choice.